In this lesson, we are going to talk about forms and files, especially how to upload files and use files in FastAPI. So first, let's talk about form data. So when you need to receive form fields instead of JSON, you can use form. So first, in order to use forms, we need to make sure we have the Python multipart installed. So in order to be sure that you have installed this, just go your terminal, make sure that you are in your FastAPI activated environment. So if you say that it's minus in and you can see you should see in this case that you are in your FastAPI environment. So it's in my case located in say users Arman account free environments FastAPI. So I already have installed Python multipart, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, multipart. So I just need to just show you which version I'm using so that we're same in the same line. We have the same version. So if I just say pip show python.multipart, eventually it's going to be saying that I have the version of 0.0.6 is the version of the Python multipart that you can use. So now when I have the Python multipart, with the form you can declare the same configurations as with body, query paths, and link validation, examples, and etc. So let's give you a very simple example where you can use the forms. So let's say you want to have the username, login, and password. We're going to have the post request with the endpoint of login. So we are saying that we're going to use the login and then return the username. After giving the login and password, if I just go and now copy and paste this to our main.py, copying and saving this, and then eventually going to navigate to our this path and then saying that I'm going to run ubicore main ops reload. You can now see that everything works cool. So if I go to localhost/docs, so you can see that I have a post request here, which is saying login. So here it says that username is password is required. You can go and just say your username, and let's say it's password something like Spain. You can see that when I execute this, I'm getting the status code of 200. The response body is the username and the value. The key is the username and the value is Arman. So everything worked correctly. So this is how you can use the forms. Now let's talk about uploading files. So in FastAPI there are two options to upload the files. Now I can show you the syntax and later we'll understand the difference. The first is when we have the post request, we want to get a file where you can use the file and say that it is of type bytes equal to FastAPI file. So in the file, this is the syntax how to use the file, to upload a file, and then we say if it's a txt file, we're going to content to say that it's equal to file.decode, the UTF-8 encoding. We're going to split the lines by enter and then get the lines and then just print the lines. So if I go, I have created two files. One of them is a txt file where I have the random lines 1 and random lines 2. So if I now our main application, I'm going to copy paste this code to our main.py. And the second is the uploading option with the upload file option again imported from the FastAPI. As you can see, this is also an option to upload file. So you're going to read the contents by file.read, then we're going to open it and then return and then eventually close it, and then what I'm going to do is going to return me a message that we are successfully uploaded the file and the file name we have already uploaded. So let's save all of these changes, and if I now go and run our application, then just everything reloaded, I go to localhost/docs, you can see that I have option of uploading a file. If I go and try it out, it says go and choose a file. what I can do is I can go to my desktop, I can go to my Python course, which have our files here located here. If I just upload my example file.txt, you can see that it's getting the status code of 200 and it's printing me the lines of random line 1 and random line 2. So all the lines that we have in our txt file is actually printed out. So the next thing we are going to do, we are going also to use upload option with the second option, which we are going to try it out, and we are going to say that we are going to choose a file. We're going to get the example file.txt, and then if I execute this, you can see that I'm going to gain status code of 200, so it successfully uploaded the example file.txt, because here's the message is written that in the end I'm going to return that file name successfully uploaded, so you can see that it's successfully uploaded. Now let's understand what is the difference between these two, the bytes option annotation and the upload file. So we first say that the files are uploaded as a form data. If we declare the type of your pop operation function as bytes, FastAPI will read the file for you and you will receive the contents as bytes. So this means that the whole content will be stored in memory. If we want to work with a larger file, it's not a good idea to use the bytes option, so it will only work well with the small files. And there are several cases when you have to use the upload file. The one good thing is you see that you don't need to specify the file here, and the file is stored in memory up to a maximum size limit, and after passing this limit, if it is stored in the disk, this means when we are working with the large files with like media, videos, images, we can use this option without consuming all the memory. These are a couple of attributes that you can use with the upload file. This is the file name, this is the content type is string with the content type. So a file which is a full temporary file, this is actual Python file that you can pass directly to other functions. And the upload file has also some other async methods, which one of them is writing data, the other is reading, and the other is seek, and the final one is close, which is closing the file. The write is called writing, read is the reading, read size bytes, characters of the file. And all of these methods are async methods, so you need to await them. For example, inside of an async pop operation function, you can await the options or get the contents with the contents equal to await my file read. And if you're inside a normal devs pop operation function, you can access the upload file directly, saying that the contents equal to my file read. And in the end, I want to give you a final example how you can upload the CSV file, like read it with pandas and do some data manipulation with the pandas. And this is very popular thing to do with the FastAPI when you need to upload the CSV files to work with the data frames and do some data science or data analytics. So you can just copy and paste this code to your main.py. Well, this is very simple. You are uploading a file, a CSV file, and upload file equal to file. The data frame is going to be your pd.readcsv csv and in the end I'm going to return the file name, which is csv file name, and the data frame size. We're going to print the data frame.shape. If I just go to my terminal, we see everything is refreshed. If I go to my endpoint, if I go to my localhost /docs, here you can see that it has the post request of uploading CSV file. If I just want to try it out, I can go and choose a file. I can say that example CSV I want to upload. I'm going to upload the example.csv, and if I go and execute it myself, you can see that in the end I'm getting the file name, and I'm getting a data frame size 4x4, which means our data frame is the 4x4, the 4 rows and the 4 columns. After reading with the pandas, and it's giving me the status code of 200, so everything worked correctly. So this is how you can use the files. There are two options. How you can use the files to read with pandas, and how you can use the pandas to manipulate these data frames. So. And this is also lesson we learned how to use the forms. And so this is all that I wanted to say in this lesson.